Labour's leadership crisis has intensified into what many within the party now fear could become a defining moment, one that echoes the political upheaval of the poll tax era. With internal disquiet mounting over proposed cuts to winter fuel payments and disability benefits, senior and backbench MPs alike are demanding decisive action. The analogy to Margaret Thatcher's downfall is no idle remark. It underscores the peril confronting Sir Keir Starmer as he confronts mounting discontent both within Westminster and across the country. The catalyst for this unrest was Labour's disappointing performance in recent local elections. The party lost ground in traditional strongholds, suffering a humiliating defeat in the Runcorn by-election and ceding nearly 200 council seats. Reform UK capitalised on this dissatisfaction, translating its polling gains into tangible victories. These results have emboldened critics who argue that Starmer's leadership has lost touch with the concerns of ordinary voters, especially those on fixed or low incomes. Among the most outspoken was Diane Abbott, who drew a direct parallel between the current policy proposals and Thatcher's infamous poll tax. Speaking during a Westminster Hall debate, she described the public's anger as boiling over and attributed vote swings primarily to the proposed cuts. Abbott's intervention was unequivocal. She challenged the moral justification for slashing payments to vulnerable groups and urged the leadership to abandon the measures before they became politically catastrophic. The fault line over welfare policy was starkly on display at Prime Minister's questions. Kemi Badenoch accused Labour of balancing the books on the backs of the older generation, highlighting the proposed removal of the winter fuel allowance for pensioners. Starmer. These figures signal a volatile electorate increasingly willing to abandon traditional party loyalties in favour of more radical alternatives. Returning to Westminster Hall, Abbott offered a forensic critique of the proposed personal independence payment reforms. She asked, in what universe is slashing benefits for the disabled moral? And castigated the leadership for making a conscious choice to balance the books on the backs of people on welfare. She recalled that it was the poll tax that ultimately proved Thatcher's undoing and implored her own party to heed history. Supporting voices on the Labour benches were equally forceful. Rachel Maskell stated her intention to vote against the PIP cuts, asserting simply, "I am Labour and disabled people matter." Nadia Whittome warned of a public backlash that will not forgive us if the government proceeds. Even traditionally loyal MPs such as Steve Witherden indicated their readiness to oppose the welfare reforms when they reached the Commons. Beyond the Commons chamber, the debate has resonated among party thinkers. Lord Glasman, speaking at a policy exchange event, described a working-class insurrection against the progressive ruling class, a movement he attributes in part to figures like Nigel Farage. Glasman argued that the era of deferring authority to supranational institutions is over, insisting that politics is back, and every policy domain is once again contested in national democracies. Taken together, these developments reveal a party at a crossroads. On one side lies the imperative to show fiscal responsibility, on the other, the risk of steep electoral fallout if proposed cuts alienate core supporters. Starmer must weigh the potential short-term savings against the possibility of long-lasting political damage. As Labour grapples with these internal and external pressures, the upcoming parliamentary votes on winter fuel and disability benefits will serve as a litmus test for the leader's authority. Will Sir Keir Starmer stand firm on these measures, or will he recalibrate to stem the tide of dissent? The answer will shape not only the party's immediate fortunes, but also its capacity to present itself as a credible government in waiting. In the balance hangs Labour's claim to be the voice of social justice. The coming weeks will determine whether the party can reconcile fiscal pragmatism with its historic commitment to protecting the most vulnerable, a dilemma that may well define its political future.